Let's restart it.
All right, and we're back. This is the Metal Dad and Thor video blog for YouTube, and today we're going to discuss what week are we on? Was this 3,
This week's
5,
week
6?
six of the regular season. Week 4 for some, 3 for others, 5 for others.
And some of them are still on week 0 because
Yeah.
half of them hadn't even played yet. So it's pretty exciting times. Full disclosure, we were at the Georgia-Tennessee game yesterday. Great game, but 45% capacity, 25% capacity.
A lot of fun being back in the stadium, that's for sure.
Great weather. We
Yeah,
managed
great
to
weather.
dodge the rain.
Yep.
But I guess we're going to start with a recap of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was also like saying, University of Georgia did a great job. Everyone was spaced out. I know that there was some stuff, some online chatter about the Georgia versus Auburn game. There was like, people were like, well, was there really 20,000 people there, whatever. They did a real good job yesterday of spacing it out. I was really impressed. Everyone was wearing masks in the stadium, on campus. I was really impressed with it, but it was a really good time. Really good to be back inside the stadium, going to a real game. So that'll be the only one we get to go to this year. But it was fun. It was worth it. But it was a good game. Kind of went sort of the way I had thought it was going to go to stay in the. Tennessee's a good team, but they're not at the level I don't think that Georgia and Alabama are right now. And just like their first score was off a fumble. Georgia needed to screw up a little bit to keep them in the game, and basically that's how they got all 3 of their touchdowns. First half, Georgia moved the football pretty much at will, and then kind of screwed up a few times. Second half, they didn't make mistakes. Defense clamped down, offense made plays, and it was a blowout. They covered, pretty dominating win. But it was a fun game. It was fun to watch. Fun to watch that defense in person and be that close to the field. You can just see how big and athletic these dudes really are.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
That defense is amazing, but the real question is the quarterback situation. Can Stetson Bennett get it done?
I went on record saying no. But full disclosure, I recall people saying that Oklahoma couldn't win with Baker Mayfield when they got him in. They said after a few games and teams start seeing the tape, they're going to adjust to him, and that never happened. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Stetson Bennett, but as we're going to see next week against Alabama, I'm not sure you can beat Alabama with Stetson Bennett. I'm not sure you can win the SEC championship or go to the playoffs and win a national title with Stetson Bennett. He keeps proving everybody wrong week to week, but I think at some point you need superior arm talent, and that's what the kid's lacking. But I mean, dude can run. He's scrambling. He's making plays. So, but we'll see what happens.
You got Carl Pickens, you got Jackson, you got this kid named Milton, Kendall Milton.
Milton,
that
freshman.
is looking great out
He
there.
does. He looks like a big bruiser.
Got a touch of fumbleitis, but I think if they can get rid of that, I think he might be the starting running back for us over with.
Reminds me a lot of Todd Gurley, just the way the kid runs and the size of the kid. Looks a lot like Todd Gurley.
Okay, so Tennessee, Georgia, 21-44. Georgia victorious, 3-0, going to Alabama next week. Big game, big stage. Hopefully they get it done.
Yeah, night game.
Can they slay the dragon? I mean, yeah.
First Nick Saban assistant to win, if that happens.
And Lane gave him a run for the money. And while we're at it, let's talk about that game right now. Alabama, Ole Miss, final score 63-48. Crazy game. We got home. I dropped you off about 10:30 last night.
Yeah,
I got rolled in here about just before 11 o'clock.
Maybe like 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter when I turned it on, and I want to say I think it was 42-35. I saw Ole Miss kick a field goal. I went up to get a beer, and Alabama had scored 14 points. I was like, what the hell just happened? To me, they looked a lot like Alabama of last year. Can score at will. But the defense is giving up yardage and they're giving up points, just like they did a few times last year. That offense is going to keep them in every single game they play. To beat them, in my opinion, you've got to be able to score a lot just to keep pace with them. And I only see just a couple of teams in the nation being able to do that. I know Alabama's defense is a lot better than they looked yesterday. So I really see them having a tough week of practice under Nick and being ready to go next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of the juggernauts next week, I do believe.
Yep.
But yeah, final score 63-48. Let's go ahead and move on to Clemson, Miami. Clemson won 42-17. The Canes ain't quite back just yet, I don't guess.
No, and to me, like we were talking yesterday going to the game, the elite teams, like Miami's was ranked number 7 in the country. The elite teams, when you're 1, 2, or 3, and you play like a 7, 8, 9, or 10 ranked team, you beat them pretty convincingly. There's every now and again there's a tough battle, but I didn't really think Miami was all that good to begin with, and this score is about what I kind of thought how this game was going to go. ETN had a big game. They keep running Trevor Lawrence. He's a big dude. He's lanky as crap, but he's a big dude. He fumbled in this game. Somebody's going to clean that dude's clock one day, and if he's out, they're in trouble. Yes. He's so good. ETN is so good. Those wide receivers are so good. I know like his, the option play, the run pass option play, he keeps it as a deadly weapon for them, but I just think it's so risky. If that guy gets hurt, they're in trouble.
They need to save something like that for the bigger games. So
Yeah.
they're just showcasing that right now,
Yeah.
especially when you're up handily against Miami. Clemson, number 1 ranked team in the nation, 4-0. Defeated Miami 42-17, excuse me. So let's go to the next big game that was on the slate yesterday. Florida A&M. A&M pulls out the upset against the number 4 ranked team in the country. Jimbo gets it done.
Yeah, surprisingly. I've been kind of calling for them to do it at least some point in time, and they finally did. And I just said the elite teams usually handle a ranked opponent fairly easily with a few exceptions. This is one of the exceptions. Florida number 4, A&M was 21. A&M, they were 13 for 15 on third downs conversions. I watched all 3 of Florida's games this season, and their defense is suspect. Their offense is damn good, but their defense is suspect. They were able to hold Kyle Pitts to 5 catches in the first half. He only got 2 catches in the second half. So maybe there's a little something there. Can hold that guy, keep him somewhat in check. I think you got a chance against Florida because that defense is suspect, and I don't see it getting all that much better this year. Todd Grantham's DC for Florida. Third and Grantham is all I got to say.
He gets exposed every time there's a long-distance third down play.
Yep.
So, that's the score, 41-38. A&M defeated Florida, number 4 ranked team, so 21. So A&M's probably going to move up in the polls. Florida State, Notre Dame, 42-26. Notre Dame victorious against a 1-3 Florida State squad. Notre Dame is 3-0, number 5 in the country. I would imagine they're going to 4.
Notre Dame, to me, they're just the same old Notre Dame. I don't think they deserve that ranking. I think they're going to get rolled by Clemson when they play them. I think North Carolina's going to beat them. But yeah, it's the Notre Dame bump is what I like to call it.
They actually have to play somebody this year.
Yeah, they're going to be forced to. Yeah.
So they're not going to go undefeated because Clemson's going to knock them off. Maybe North Carolina. I guess North Carolina. Well, let's talk about them and Virginia Tech. Number 8 versus 19. North Carolina wins are 3-0, 56-45. I didn't see this game, so I don't really know much about it. But you keep harping about North Carolina. Might be something in the ACC.
I'm high on North Carolina. I've been saying that all summer long and so far all fall. Sam Howell, big day, 257 with 3 TDs. Carter, only 17 carries for 214 yards. I think he had 2 touchdowns. Was a little surprised at this final score. I know North Carolina can put up this amount of points with that offense. I thought their defense was going to be a little bit better this year. However, 2 of their starting DBs opted out due to COVID. They are playing a true freshman in Tony Grimes. He should be in high school right now. He reclassified when Virginia announced they weren't playing high school ball. He went ahead over the summer and committed to North Carolina and went ahead and enrolled. So this kid should be in the fall of his senior year of high school, and the dude's playing. So obviously there's some growing pains. From the highlights, I saw they had some problems tackling, just fundamentals. I expect their defense to improve a little bit this season, and that offense looks like they're rolling. They're really rolling.
Okay. Well, like I said, North Carolina won 56-45. 8 beat 19. You probably see North Carolina maybe getting another bump or two in the polls. Now we're coming to Auburn, Arkansas. This was a mess, apparently. Was it a spike ball behind? There was a fumble that they got called like incomplete pass or spike.
It was a fumble, but they ruled it. I think they ruled it incomplete. And then when they went to review, the ruling was that when the whistle blew, the players just stopped, which they're supposed to. But had they jumped on the ball and kind of kept going, they would have given it to them. I don't know. Arkansas got hosed. Only two things I really want to talk about this game is Tank Bigsby from right here in LaGrange. Looks really good for Auburn. Really good running back. Runs hard. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He was returning kicks. He was, 20 carries, 146 yards. It says right there. Arkansas is a lot better than their 1-2 record, and they should have won this game. And if I'm Sam Pittman, I'm basically telling them, keep your head up because you won that game. So, and then once again, Auburn with that damn rabbit's foot in their pocket, the luckiest team in all the land.
Yes. So Sam Pittman's got them heading in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless. The question is, we heard from a Auburn fan earlier about Gus and wishing they would have lost because they're sick of Gus.
Yeah. So I got kind of some Auburn fans were crying about my video a couple weeks ago when I told the story about Auburn. They were getting upset, but this particular Auburn fan wasn't one of those. But he come over to the house today and we were talking about it. And one thing about Auburn fans is when their team's not winning, they basically just mentally check out, wait for basketball season. But and he was kind of explaining that and just, they don't like Gus. They're tired of the Gus era. They're tired of them, going 8-4, 9-3, and losing to the better teams they play. They're looking for a change, and I think it's going to happen after this season.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Auburn beat Arkansas 30-28. Okay, game. What is this? Utah. BYU.
University of Texas San Antonio.
There it is. University of San Antonio. I don't know that school. Anyway, saw BYU a few weeks ago. They looked good. They were playing Army, I believe they were playing.
Yeah.
Anyway, they looked great. 27-20, 4-0 BYU gets it done. They give up about 14 points late. Kind of made it probably closer than it was. I don't know if you got anything you want to add to that.
BYU's a fun team to watch. When they start their games at sometimes 8:30, 9:30 Eastern time, that's a fun game. Zach Wilson is one of the best players in the game. I think he needs to be getting a lot more national attention. He's a lot of fun to watch. In my opinion, Zach Wilson's up there with a guy like Rondale Moore, that when I click it and Purdue's on, I'm keeping that game on one of the TVs because Rondale Moore is that much fun to watch. Wilson's very similar in my opinion. He's a QB for BYU if you don't really follow BYU. Their schedule is really easy because I want to say 80% of their schedule had to get redone when the Pac-12 and then what was the MAC or somebody, Big Ten, all those conferences bailed. They had to redo their schedule.
Well, aren't they independent?
They are, but they play a lot of those teams.
You're right.
So they were just getting anybody they could. It's not a really strong schedule. I expect them to finish undefeated or close to it. But they're fun to watch. If you see them on a Saturday night, tune in. Wilson's a lot of fun.
Okay, so yeah, BYU 27-20 over UT San Antonio. Anyway, moving right along, LSU, Missouri. Missouri gets by in a squeaker, 45-41. Scores the only touchdown of the fourth quarter, and that's the deal. Like I said, we were on the road while this game was going on, so we didn't see it. But LSU's got some problems. They lost a lot of talent last year, and it is showing.
They're recruiting at an elite level. They've got guys in there. Derek Stingley Jr. He'll be a first-round pick when he comes out. I think he's only a sophomore. They got another kid. God, his name eludes me. He's a true freshman DB. They're playing a lot of guys who probably would have seen limited action this year because they were just not ready yet, and there were better players ahead of them. But everybody went to the NFL or opted out. If they're going to get better, it's just going to take them some time. these are guys, like I said, that shouldn't be playing in the game right now. But that being said, I think they take it to Florida next week. I think they beat Florida next week. I'm not going to say Ed Orgeron's coaching for his job. The dude just won the national championship. But people ain't happy down there on the bayou right now.
He needs a win.
He does. Miles Brennan looked good. Offense looks pretty good.
Yeah. Can't stop anybody.
Yeah. And just like the next teams we will discuss here.
So LSU loses to Missouri 45-41, number 17 ranked team in the country. Okay, now the Red River Shootout, Texas versus Oklahoma. Number 22 Texas is now 2-2. Oklahoma's 2-2. Oklahoma sweeps by 53-45, 4 OT game. We were watching some of this at the Texas Roadhouse in Athens while this was going on, and we didn't think this was what was going to happen at that point in time when we left, but apparently just all hell broke loose.
Yeah, when we left the restaurant, Oklahoma was blowing them out. Rattler had been benched because I think he threw 3 picks on 3 series, but when we left, they had scored with Rattler. I think it was like 10-0 or something like that. Yeah, 10-0. Then they scored again. We leave, and the next thing you know, Texas made a colossal a huge comeback. I got to hand it to Texas for having the resiliency to come back. I picked Oklahoma to win this game. I just did not see Lincoln Riley's a Lincoln Riley-led team losing 3 games in a row. That being said, Texas needed this win a lot more than Oklahoma did for a lot of different reasons, and it didn't happen. Herman's job is definitely in danger. I gotta say that seat's awfully damn hot. So I kind of feel for Texas. I don't dislike Texas. I like the whole Ellinger at the Sugar Bowl. We're back. Yeah, idiot. Shut your mouth because you're not back. Texas ain't back. But I've said this in the last few videos. The Big 12's a lot of fun to watch this season. It's a shit show. Because TCU, who just knocked off Oklahoma, they just lost to Kansas